While Japanese officials struggle to contain the dangers from nuclear plants on the brink of a meltdown after Friday's earthquake, some U.S. politicians calling for a rethinking of building new reactors right here.
Of course, Senator Joe Lieberman was one of the first right away. We've been showing you that all day. Congressman Ed Markey, both of them saying we need a moratorium to shut it down for the moment on any new nuclear power projects while safety risks are better assessed.
But Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz says we can't wait too long. He's from Utah, where plans for a new plant capable of supplying 50% of the state's electricity needs are at risk of being squashed. Congressman, good to have you here. Thanks for being in. It's early stages. We still don't know if there's a an official meltdown, if you will, at the reactors now in question. But shouldn't it cause some pause in our own plans?
Well, I think we obviously need to think through all the contingencies with something that's so volatile. We haven't been bringing on nuclear power plants on a regular basis. So to just put a flat-out moratorium, I don't think is necessarily the most prudent way. Of course we want to take care of the worst-case scenario. Of course we want to make sure they're as safe and secure as possible. But they are still years and years and years away, if not more than 10 years away, before the next power plant could possibly be developed.
Okay, so there are 20 permits pending in the United States, and we already have about 104 that are up or running. Talk about the one that is near the Green River that, of course, is in Utah. Boy, this could solve a lot of energy problems. I know that for your state. How are the residents around the area welcoming it or fighting it? I can imagine there's the not in my backyard crowd, but then, of course, there are people who must be for it.
Well, there are lots of people that benefit from the energy. There are so many jobs that are associated with. Nobody wants to take the undue risk that would, if we haven't explored all the possibilities, how to deal with all the contingency. I happen to be one that believes in all of the above. We ought to be exploring and expanding the use of coal, and we should be drilling up in ANWR. We ought to be doing all of these things instead of the status quo, which is let us be totally dependent on outside countries. When your energy policy is dependent upon Venezuela and Nigeria and Libya for your very own well-being, that's just unacceptable. So, yeah, let's pursue the nuclear, let's pursue the coal, let's pursue the energy that's up in ANWR, all of the above. That's where I've come from, and that's where I continue to be.
The Fukushima plant was built in the early 1970s. Not as bad as Chernobyl, but it was old technology. I assume the technology of the new plant being designed in Utah and any new nuclear plant is going to be light years ahead in terms of safety paradigms than the one that's blown up.
Well, absolutely. I think obviously with the disaster that we're having to deal with in Asia, and our hearts just go out for all those people who are suffering at the moment. But of course, everybody's going to be as cognizant as possible. But the reality is our world does need to continue on. We do have very real energy needs, and we need to continue to pursue all avenues.
Representative, thank you very much for joining us. Jason Chaffetz from Utah. We'll keep